Hey everyone, this is my review of the new Toro Titan HD Series commercial zero-turn mower. The Titan HD Series is a relatively new series. It's only been out for about a year or so. There are three models encompassed in the Titan HD Series. There's the 1500, which replaces the old Titan MX. There's the 2000, which replaces the Z Master 2000. And there's the 2500, which bridges the gap from what would have been the Z Master 2000 and the current Z Master 3000. These are the entry level into Toro's full commercial series. Getting into the looks are relatively subjective, but I think they did a really good job making this mower look a lot better than the outgoing models. Everything from these trim pieces on the side, which they actually are functional. They are part of the accessory system for putting various accessories on the mower. They put painted wheels on it. They used a yellow zinc plating on the hardware, which helps with corrosion, and it makes the mower look really nice. Getting into the big stuff like the chassis on this thing, the chassis, full length chassis tubes are 2-inch by 3-inch fully boxed steel tubing. So these run the full length of the mower. A lot of residential machines, they don't run full length. They will usually stop them here, and then they'll have this as one piece. But this setup is much stronger by having them run the full length to the front wheels, and then they do cross members like a ladder bar frame on a heavy-duty truck. So this is definitely the right way to build a real nice heavy-duty mower. Toro did a really nice job. They use a lot of heavy gauge steel throughout this entire machine. The floor pan here is probably the thinnest, and this is very, very significant steel. I mean, you can stand on this and jump up and down and it doesn't even move. And this is the thinnest steel on this machine. The bash guard on the back's even thicker. So this is all very heavy plating throughout this entire machine. This is definitely a well-built commercial level machine. This is the lowest level series to incorporate a roll bar from the factory. The roll bar requires no tools to take it down. You just take these pins, turn to the side, and then it folds down and rests on the rear bash guard if you need to bring the roll bar down while you're moving. Moving on to the engines for these machines. There's 3 engines available. If you go with the 2500 series, it offers a Kawasaki engine. If you go with the 2000 series, it offers a Kohler. If you go with this 1500 series, you get this Toro commercial V-twin engine. The engine is 708 cc and it makes 24.5 horsepower. So this is probably one of the best displacement to a horsepower ratio commercial V-twin motors available for zero-turn mowers. It's got plenty of power to get this thing around. It's a nice compact design. It seems to be very well built. This engine's only been out for about a year or so. Before I bought this thing, I did a lot of reviews. I checked a lot of reviews on this thing and looked for a lot of complaints. I couldn't find any complaints on this engine. So far so good. It definitely has the potential to go down in history as a really well-built, long-running commercial engine. But I guess sort of time will tell with something like that. Basically what Toro did with this engine is they looked at the best features from Kohler and Kawasaki and incorporated it into this. Everything from twin barrel carb, cast iron cylinder liners, automotive style pistons and rods, and 5-bolt cylinder heads. I will link in the description below the full engine description and a review video from Toro that goes into a lot more depth into the design of this engine. But like I said, it definitely has the potential to go down as being a really well-built engine. But like I said, I guess we'll see. It doesn't require any tools to change the oil. This just pops off and you can just run it down the side. So if you need to change the oil quick, you don't have any tools, you can do that. Moving on to the next point. I've only had this mower for a few months and I've only cut the lawn a bunch of times with it, but so far it's been really good on fuel. I was actually surprised how good this thing was on fuel. It has a 7-gallon gas tank, which is a lot better than some of the competition, and the gas tank is actually under the seat rather than being up on the side here. Having it under the seat helps lower the center of gravity. You can see sort of the white molding from where it is. So again, 7 gallons is good. It probably took me 3 or 4 cuts of my lawn, which is probably the better. It's a little over an acre to cut the lawn. So I got a bunch of cuts out of 1 gallon of gas. So I'm curious to see by next season how long a full tank goes for. As far as the deck, all Toro Titan HD models offer Toro's Turbo Force deck. This is a well-known deck for being both well-built and a very good cut quality. It is a mix of 7 and 10 gauge steel. I believe the tops are 10 gauge, and then the side is 7s, and you have this this bullnose bumper on the front, which is a really tough bumper. It really helps absorb a lot of impacts. But you can just see from the side here, this is a lot of really substantial steel, and it's fully fabricated. There is no stamping on here at all like a residential would have. The whole thing is welded. All models are available with either a 48, 52, or 60-inch deck, and then some of them offer a rear discharge as well, but most of them have the side discharge. This is spring loaded for the side here, and then you have this rubber chute, which is a lot better than the plastic ones the residential series have, that if you hit something you'll break it. But with this, if you hit anything, it just moves out of the way. It doesn't damage anything, so that's definitely a really good design feature to have for something that's going to be potentially used quite a bit. Transmissions on this mower. If you go for this 1500 series, you get a Hydro Gear ZT3100 transmission. If you go for the 2000 or the 2500, you upgrade to the Hydro Gear 3400. Both are commercial level transmissions. They're both known for being really good, very well built, but again, depending on your needs and how much you're going to use it, that's something you would need to choose. The seat is very comfortable on this. You have adjustments for firmness or tight, how firm or tight you want it, and you can adjust it forward or backwards. I'm 5'8", and I have had the seat all the way up comfortably, and I was driving it. So if you're well over 6 feet, you would have no problem driving this machine. And then, of course, you have the armrests on the side. Controls are a relatively common layout. Parking brake here, deck release, key, blade and gauge, digital hour meter. They all have digital hour meters on the throttle. Choke, it has a vacuum assist choke, so it'll kind of start to back itself off. And then they put an accessory on here, so if you want to charge your iPads or iPods or phones or whatever you have. So it's nice to have that on here if you're going to be on this thing for a long series of time. If you're using it for more commercial use, this is probably one of the nicest features on this mower. Most mowers will have the deck adjustment on the side. This has it on the face. They did a really nice job integrating this on the front, so it's easy to read and it's not in the way. And then on here they have a magnetic pin on here, so if you're bouncing around, it's not going to bounce out of place having the magnet on the bottom. It's really easy to adjust. You just put the deck up, put it to whatever height you want, and put it back down lower the deck. You're good to go. Anywhere from 1.5 inches to 5 inches. So you got quite a bit of adjustability. It's really easy to read, really easy to use. Toro did a really nice job putting that feature on, and it looks pretty cool on there too. Also, one note, Toro's recommends you put this thing at half throttle to start it. I found that it kind of seems to have a little bit of an easier time starting if you start at 3/4 throttle, so I would just kind of play with that. If the mower is a little bit more resilient to start at half throttle, I would give it 3/4, and it seems to go a little bit better. As far as accessories for this machine, Toro, like most manufacturers, offer quite a lot of accessories for this machine. Everything from lights, bagging kits. They offer a jack that goes in this front jack point for servicing underneath the mower or the deck. It makes it a lot easier than using like a floor jack or anything like that. Probably the really coolest set of accessories that they offer for this thing, they offer a series of mounts for like weed whackers and blowers. They offer a mount for a weed whacker. It mounts here, and it mounts on the side here, so you can put a weed whacker and bring it with you if you're, cutting a substantially large lawn or using it for commercial use, so you don't want to have to go back and get it. They make a mount to put a blower on the back here, and then a mount to put a 5-gallon bucket or like a little garbage bag on the front. So they definitely did a really nice job with those accessories. That's sort of a really unique thing nobody else is doing. It's really nice if you're using this thing for commercial use to be able to take all that stuff with you, so you don't have to kind of go back and forth. It saves commercial guys a lot of time, and with those guys, time is money. So, another thing I want to touch on with the transmissions, adjusting them is very easy. You have this set screw right here, and there's a hole right here that an Allen key goes through. So if you need to adjust the transmission, you can actually adjust it while you're moving. So adjusting the set screws is a lot easier on this mower than some other machines. A lot of other machines you have to get underneath and you have to tighten, like basically push rods. So with this, it's really easy to adjust it if it's slightly off. Again, you can do it on the move if you really want to. So, all right, pros and cons for this machine. Again, this is my opinion on this machine. Yours may differ depending on how you're using it and what kind of mowers you're into. I think this is a very well built machine. Toro used very heavy gauge steel throughout this entire machine. There is nothing flimsy or crappy or cheap on this machine at all. This is a very, very significant machine, and you should definitely get a long life out of this thing as long as you maintain it. It's really good on fuel, like I said before. When I first got it, it only had about a gallon of fuel in it, and I cut the lawn a bunch of times. My lawn's not huge. I know I don't need a mower of this caliber, but I was willing to invest money in a machine that I knew was going to last probably decades, because I have a lot of friends that do commercial lawn cutting, and they said this is a really great machine. You're definitely not going to go wrong with it. So I was willing to invest a little bit of extra money in it. The power is really good. 24.5 horsepower for this machine is really good. It's a lot better than what Kohler and Kawasaki offer at this level. So it's got plenty of power. It has no problem cutting. The blades really don't slow down when you hit a lot of heavy stuff. So definitely hats off to Toro for putting a really good power to displacement ratio on this thing. And the deck is very heavy duty and gives a really, really good cut quality. So I'm really glad Toro used these Turbo Force decks on this machine, and everything is commercial on this machine. Everything from the engine, the transmissions, everything is a commercial level rating. So it definitely has the potential to go down in history as a really, really good entry level commercial machine. The only complaints I have about this thing is at this MSRP level, which is over $6,000 for this machine, and this is the basically the cheapest one of them. This is the smallest deck, and this is the 1500 series. I think some of the items on the spec sheet could be a little bit better, especially compared to the competition at this level. I see some big name competitors offering a couple things that are a little bit better, nothing crazy, at a slightly lower MSRP level. But since this thing's over $6,000, I would like to see Toro maybe tweak the specs a little bit and just upgrade a couple little items, nothing big, maybe like tire size, certain things like that. So. And the seat sensor on this thing was a little finicky when I first got it. I kind of had to figure out where to sit to get the seat sensor not to shut it off when I would disengage the parking brake. So, but overall, a really, really good machine. I would definitely recommend it. At least check it out if you're not a Toro person. Check it out. I don't think you'll really be disappointed in this machine if you're shopping for a zero turn, whether it's commercial or residential. Who should buy this machine? I think homeowners with significant yards, who are willing to invest in a really good machine that's probably, like I said, going to last decades. I don't need a machine of this caliber. I would have been perfectly fine with a time cutter, but I wanted to spend the extra money and have a machine that was going to last a really, really long time, and I didn't have to worry about this thing failing on me. So landscapers who are doing commercial stuff, if you want a good commercial machine, but maybe you don't have the money to go for like a full Z Master, this is definitely a great option. You're still getting a full commercial spec, but you're not getting into $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 for a machine like this. So again, that's my review. I would definitely recommend someone who wants a good quality zero turn and is doing a decent amount of cutting to check this out. Or if you're an entry level commercial guy and you don't have the money for a Z Master, definitely take a look at this. Even if you're maybe a guy who's in the Husqvarna or one of the other big name companies, definitely check this machine out. It's a great machine. I've been really happy with it so far, and I'm planning on maintaining it properly, so I expect this thing to last quite a long time. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.